Today's dedication is for Zahn, who gave me a very generous 1 year's worth of subscriptions on Patreon. Valgavoth, Howler of Souls, versus Safara, Odric, and Kozilek. Up against mono white and colourless here. We've got nothing but lands really. Stormfist Crusaders good in the opener, but it just means a turn 4 Valgavoth, which is quite slow. Let's try and risk a mulligan on this. Argument to be made for keeping that previous one. Yeah, I mean this isn't all that incredible either, but I don't really want to go down a card when the hand isn't incredible, but it's not exactly god-awful either, so yeah, we'll just try keeping this. Drew into a Jeska's Will, and we see a turn 1 Terrarian and an Urza's Bauble as well. The land is a Mycosynth Gardens. So this one is 2 tap, sack, add 2 mana in any combination of colours, and you draw a card when you do that. And the trend continues. Turn 1 fast mana on Magic Online. Very intrigued to see if Wizards of the Coast are going to unban Jeweled Lotus and Mana Crypt. As it happens, and I do have first-hand authority here, it has changed little to nothing of the game, because everyone can just run Mana Vaults and get their turn 1 Sol Rings in anyway. A Thaumatic Compass on turn 1 as well. So we're going to go too slow for this game apparently. Personally, it seems to make, I don't know what's in our opponent's hand, but I think it makes more sense to leave the Mana Vault in untapped there. Play this on turn 2, and then you can tap the ability straight away with the untapped Mana Vault. Then you can at least get a basic from that straight away. A Bedevil just getting into all the 3-drops. Kozilek just passing through the turn after showing us an Eye of Ugin. Noteworthy he hasn't cracked his Urza's Bauble yet in order to draw. Must be confident in the cards that are in his hand. Alright, and it's a tap land on turn 1. That might be the reason that he did the whole Mana Vault thing. Pilgrim's Eye, I think this is, yeah, you search for a land and keep it in your hand when it enters. Urza's Bauble was pointed at this player when he cracked it, so got to look at a card at random. Their opponent's basics are different, and they are horrific white bordered cards, some of them. So we can keep easy track of the lands that he's got in his hand. Alright, well, a Rakdos Signet, we draw into that in the wrong order. But we're not doing much of anything else here anyway, so Rakdos Signet could have been a turn 3 commander. Alright, awesome. And then the Kozilek player scoops, so yet another ban. It's not a problem though. Don't ever believe someone when they tell you it's a problem. Maze of Ith for the Odric player. And there we see a Swiftfoot Boots. So yeah, the land's a little bit clunky over here. 1-1 swings at us. And a flyer with protection from creatures on a 2-4. So are we going to dodge Swords to Plowshares and the like? We could test the waters first. Sheoldred just tends to be a lightning rod for removal for obvious reasons, so if we can stick both Sheoldred and our commander out, then we're fine. And if Sheoldred lasts a turn cycle, we'll just assume that she's going to survive for the foreseeable future. So get Sheoldred in. Well, we make it through the first draw phase with Sheoldred and knock our opponent down to 36. And yet another tap land after that, a Kabira Crossroads. Gain 2 life with that one, so undoing the Sheoldred damage. Looks like we get through the draw phase of this white player as well. So whilst white mana is being held up, perhaps it's not for a Swords or a Path. The 1-1, and I dare say, yeah, the 2-4 as well coming in at us. Should be able to gain life easily enough if Sheoldred sticks in play though. And a Windborn Muse, both of our opponents looking to make some form of pillow forts. Although I dare say this is just in here because it's a flyer. Alright, Thrill of Possibility. We gain 2 life during the draw phase with Sheoldred. What are the chances that we've got a land on the top 2 cards of our library? Because the problem is that we miss out on getting our commander down if we don't get into a land. I'm just going to go for the Valgavoth here and miss a land drop for the turn. And hopefully these 2 stick in play so that, yeah, they're both holding up priority, which might be telling. Hopefully these 2 stick in play so that we can actually draw into a land from the Valgavoth. We can't swing into either player because there's a Maze of Ith over here and attacks with the Windborn Muse. Alright, and it's through to the white player's upkeep, so again we'll assume that there's no swords or anything. So drawing a card loses them 2 life, which means that the Valgavoth triggers. It's likely that we're going to lose life to the Mana Vault anyway. And we did have a land on top, so we could have gone for the Thrill of Possibility. At least didn't have to discard a card here though. Thaumatic Compass being activated for the first time. And this opponent is not matching up their basics either, which is a crime against humanity. Onto this player's draw phase as well, gets us into a talisman, so we wouldn't have had the worst draws there. That is a Mercadian Atlas now. At the beginning of your end step, if you didn't play a land this turn, you may draw a card. That's fine with our Valgavoth in play. Alright, so we're up to 44. We've got the Scalding Tarn there. Let's play ourselves a talisman first of all. Not sure if we're going to want to get down a tap land or not. I think I'll try and hold off on the Jeska's Will and just do a little bit of setting up here. So yeah, we can make it a 3-mana creature. Maybe the Scytheclaw Raptor. Although this is really for punishment during our turn, which won't trigger the commander. We can hold on to this though, because it can replace the Sheoldred if that goes down, and damage them during their turn, so yeah, Scytheclaw Raptor makes sense here. Then do we want to hold up the Thrill of Possibility or not? I suppose we can always crack the Scalding Tarn later for a tap land. And now to try and... we do want to be swinging in though, I suppose, so we'll have to pay the tax over here. Yeah, let's go Sheoldred against the Maze of Ith and force them to use that on a creature to protect themselves. Because if we swing in Valgavoth over here, they may well use it to help their opponent out and make it a 2-on-1. So we will make this a Badlands. And that way we can attack in with Valgavoth to the right and Sheoldred to the left, assuming that it's going to get untapped. And pay our taxes. Oh, of course, I'm forgetting about protection from creatures here, aren't I? Oh well. Yeah, so just chump blocking there. That'll chump block for days. We're going to find it difficult to get through these difficult creatures and things here. Although, yeah, that's why you always swing in against the Maze of Ith. Our opponent just let that through for some reason. It's always worth trying your luck, because, I don't know, 20% of the time, something like that, you'll sneak something through. Anyway, Sheoldred and Valgavoth again. Loses our opponent 2, we gain 2 and draw into a fetch. So we're getting to the point where we've got plenty of discard fodder for a Thrill of Possibility. Thaumatic Compass being activated again. Our opponent buying himself a decent amount of time with that maze. Although apparently not if he's not going to activate it. Plays the plains immediately. Alright, awesome. And then this player scoops as well. Absolutely incredible. Windborn Muse has a Nimbus Wings played onto it, so just a 1-2 buff basically. Followed by Angelic Wall, a defender with flying, so yeah, the only thing we're really worried about here is the commander. So that will have to be a Bedevil onto that, I imagine. We've drawn into a Sut Imp during our opponent's draw phase, by the way. So again, that can be a replacement for Sheoldred if needs be. And playing out all of the creatures in order to get indestructible on their things, so, well, now it has to be Bedevil onto this instead, because it doesn't give itself indestructible. Mercadian Atlas will draw them a card at the end of the turn. Right, Disciple of Bolas in order to draw ourselves a bunch of cards if we want. Have to time it quite well with that though. Could try to one-shot our opponent if we go for the Temur Battle Rage, giving Double Strike. Let's see what Thrill of Possibility gives us here. Let's go after the Jeska's Will while our opponent still has cards in hand. Can do both because we have our commander in play, so 4 cards in hand means the Jeska's Will pays for itself, but we can look at 3 cards on the top here just in case they're of any relevance. Alright, and we see Zozu the Punisher, which is probably worth playing. Get down the Verdant Catacombs for the turn as well. So just clearing some okay cards off the top, really. And then we'll need to pay the tax. It's probably worth seeing if the Saphara blocks us here. So let's just go through the possibility now, and then we can still pay the tax. And if needs be, we can always Bedevil next turn. Highly doubt they're going to block us, but whatever. We'll just go through the possibility, discard. Yeah, Swamp is fine. Draws us up to 8. We gain 4 life from the Sheoldred, and there's an Animate Dead ready for our commander. Shizo is very good as well, because it's going to give our commander fear, along with the Temur Battle Rage. That could be very good. So we've got Death Touch on the Sheoldred. We can trade our opponent with that if he likes. So let's swing in with our commander and the Sheoldred. Of course, I'm forgetting about the tax. Yeah, if I cracked my Verdant Catacombs before now, I could have swung in with both. Oh well, just have to hope that that's not relevant, because we're not doing anything with this 2 mana anyway. So we get them on 8 commander there, which might make all the difference for next turn. And I think we're fine to discard the Disciple of Bolas for next turn, because we can always grab it back with Animate Dead if we are desperate to refill our hand. Not too confident about having Disciple of Bolas in here, because we do just want to keep our commander in play and keep whacking people with it, but if we get a big pillow fort against us, then yeah, that's going to make things difficult. So maybe Disciple of Bolas, sacrificing this to get into something more relevant, could be good. That was the thinking anyway. Swiftfoot Boot sets us up for next turn so that we're more likely to land the Team of Battle Rage. And there is a Sword of Hearth and Home. I don't think they've got anything all that decent to flicker really. Good amount of commander damage coming in towards us though. So they decide to swing in with a bunch, not holding back their protection from creatures. Just thinking they're going to be able to chump block. We have no flyers whatsoever. Did manage to shock them when they made a land, by the way, with the Zozu. And is this is whenever a land enters, I think, yeah. So if they go for another land with the Sword of Hearth and Home, then Zozu has dealt 4 already. We're still north of our starting life total though, thanks to Sheoldred, although we are at 9 points of commander. And they do get a land. Don't think they flickered anything there though. Could have flickered the Pilgrim's Eye, that's got an ETB on it. Alright, another flyer. That is a Voiceless Spirit, flying, first strike, and indestructible. And they did play a land this turn, so they don't get to draw. Oh, I thought they did play a land there. Apparently they did get to draw, so they lose 2 life. Let's go for the Surveil land here. Zozu does deal damage to us as well. On top, a Demand Answers. I suppose we'll just keep that on top just in case, but it's looking like we're going to win next turn. Alright, so before we show our opponent the Shizo, let's go for the Swiftfoot Boots and encourage them to use any kind of free removal that they might have. I don't think they've got anything, but best to play it out this way. Alright, so now with the Swiftfoot Boots, we'll play the land and shock ourselves, taking us below the life total before the end of the game. Before the starting life total, I mean. Put Fear with the Shizo onto our commander, and then we'll just do the double strike now with the Team of Battle Rage. And that means on this turn alone we're dealing 18 points of commander damage to our opponent. They've already got 8 on them from the previous turn, so attack in. And we still have the 2 mana tax to pay. But luckily we've got exactly enough here. So getting into those rocks was relevant. They can block with the Pilgrim's Eye because it is an artifact creature. They could block with either an artifact creature or a black creature. But luckily the Team of Battle Rage gives us trample as well, as long as our creature has 4 power or more, so we're still getting through here. Knock our opponent down to 8 and 25 points of commander damage, so apologies for the early scoops as ever. For any of you that missed it, I did bring it up to Daybreak Games, but they basically shooed me away and told me that it wasn't a problem, so I can't do much more than tell them that it's an issue and prove it over and over again in videos, and if I'm still cast to one side after that, then well, like I say, there's not a whole lot I can do about it, but hopefully you all got some enjoyment from this Valgavoth game anyway. Maybe you saw some interactions that you might not have thought of for your deck. Massive thank you to the very few of you who support on Patreon. If you do want to do that yourself, you can do it via the link in the description below. I'm tribalkai. Thank you for watching.